Bayan, kayo ang maghusga. Nakakatawa. Nakakatawa. Nakakatawa ito si Jinky Lucarit Luistro at saka si Tere Mr. Bean Ridon. Parehong mga bubong abogado. Ay, nako. Ang sabi nila, ang sagot daw ni Sarah ay mali daw ang sagot ni Sarah sa impeachment na reklamo. Ang katwiran niya ay dahil daw ay ano ito, hindi daw sinagot yung mga akusasyon. Ito ang problema sa mga abogado na hindi naging abogado. Hindi kasi kayo nakatikim ng trial sa korte. Ang inyong pagiging abogado, nasa lamesa lang kayo. Pagiging congressman, iba po ang laro sa kaso. Iba ang laro sa lamesa. Tapos may mga comment pa kayo, ilalabas ko ba may mga comment nila, na hindi na klaro o very obvious na hindi nyo alam ang ginagawa nyo. Una, hindi nyo alam ang diskarte. Tapos salita kayo ng salita. May mga akusasyon laban kay Sarah sa impeachment. Dalawang akusasyon yun, dalawang reklamo. At ang gusto nyo, bawat salita ron ay sasagutin. Ngayon, kung gusto nyo, kung daw sa tingin nyo hindi sinagot, ay hindi na daw pwede. Nakalimutan nyo ba? Nakalimutan nyo ba mga attorneys Jinky Lucarit Luistro at saka si attorney Terry Mr. Bean Ridon? Kasi bakit Mr. Bean? Di ba si Mr. Bean yung chick niya, yung kanyang pisngi makapal, yung parang lumulubo sa magkabilang pisngi. Ganon si Mr. Bean. Kaya Mr. Bean ng Philippines ang tawag ko kay Terere doon eh. Ito, graduate ng UP College of Law to. Pinapahiya na lang yung UP College of Law sa ginagawa niya. Mga kabubuhan niya. Una, ang mali ninyo, bakit kayo mag-insiste na bawal kay Sarah na kumuha ng abogado na si Attorney Raymond Monsayak at saka si Attorney Michael Puwa bilang kasama sa mga abogado ng Fortune Narvasa Salazar. Yung mga abogado ng Fortune Narvasa Salazar po ay ang mga senior lawyers nila dyan ay sanay po sa impeachment. Si Sigrid Fortune po ay leader ng Fortune Narvasa Salazar na naging abogado ni ERAP sa impeachment reklamo laban kay ERAP. Ibig sabihin, sanay sila kung anong diskarte. Ang mga tauhan niya ay mga magagaling lahat yan. Ang kanyang kasama dyan, si Gregory Narvasa, anak ni dating Chief Justice Andres Narvasa. Isa pang kasama niya dyan ay si Attorney Roderick Salazar na professor ko sa pamantasan ng lungsod ng Maynila sa course sa mga subjects na commercial laws. Siya ang professor ko sa negotiable instruments. Siya ang professor ko sa Corporation Code of the Philippines. Magaling! At saka mga kasama niya, mga magagaling lahat yung yan. Sigurado ako, pag magbalitaktakan na kapag mag-trial na, kakainin kayo ng buhay niyan. Attorney Jinky Locarit Cluistro, saka si Attorney Terry, Mr. Bean Ridon. Kwento kayo ng kwento. Unang mali ninyo ay, saan ba kayo nag-aral? Di ba UP ka nag-aral, Mr. Ridon? Ikaw, Jinky Luistro, nag-aral ka sa University of Batangas? Bakit sinasabi ninyo na hindi pwede maging kukunin ni Sara na abogado si Attorney Monsayak tsaka Attorney Pau Apuba? Just because na empleyado dati ni Sara si Attorney Pua tsaka si Attorney Monsayak sa Department of Education at saka sa Office of the Vice President. Ang katwiran ninyo sapagkat gusto ninyo gamitin na testigo si Attorney Michael Pua at saka si Attorney Raymond Bonsayak laban kay Sara Duterte. Kasi daw, alam ng dalawa nung sila'y nagtatrabaho sa Office of the Vice President at saka Office of the Secretary of Education, alam daw nila dalawa kung paano ginasta at saan napunta ang confidential funds. Bubo talaga itong mga ito. Napakabubo ninyo. Unang-una, Mr. Ridon, Mr. Bin at Ridon, at saka si Mrs. Locarit Cluistro, dapat iniisip nyo ang kapwa nyo ang abogado ay hindi yan basta-basta kapag abogado, hindi pumapatol yan sa mga korupsyon. Dapat yan ang unang iniisip ninyo. Pangalawa, dapat iniisip ninyo na karapatan sa ilalim ng Constitution ng kahit sinuman at hindi pwedeng harangan, hindi pwedeng tanggihan. Karapatan ng kahit sino na kumuha ng at pumili kung sinong gusto niyang abogado. Maayong buntag, maganda ate ha. Camilo Antigua, Toto, it's better you stop blogging because the more you expose your lack of principle. No, you better stop listening to me if you want. What I'm telling you is the brutal and frank truth. You are mad because I called Jinkil as Locarit Cluistro and I called Mr. Bin Terry Ridon as Mr. Bin Ridon. The most, sabihin ko, ayoko lang, the most ignorant lawyers I ever seen in Congress. The most ignorant UP graduate, si Ridon. Anong pakialam mo, Camilo Antigua? If he doesn't want to hear what I say here, you can go out if you want. But if you will have to hear things that hurt them, that maybe hurt you, then come on, just listen. So, yan po, particular na karapatan ng kahit sinong tao magkaroon ng abogado. Kaya nga sabi niya ng pulis, pag inaristo ka ng pulis, you have the right to remain silent. You have the right to an attorney. Ano ka klase, Camilo Antigua? Nagsalita ka, kung magsalita ka, klaruhin mong iyong kwan. Ang principle ko, that cannot be bent. I stand for the principle of truth, principle of justice, and principle of what is correct in the law and in the Constitution. It is not correct for you to stop a person from hiring a lawyer. Camilo Antigua, taga saan ka ba? if I may ask. Pero I respect you if you do not answer. But I cannot stop you from making comments here. Okay? So, Daryl Santana. Toto, we support you from Valenzuela City. Ay, salamat. Akala ko wala akong support. Raymond Rebocas. Kandidato ni Sara sa Antipolo, daog sa eleksyon sa social media. Ay, wala na akong pakialam doon. Hindi naman yung topic natin. Ah, si Gloria Bagsaw, si Norma Lasam, baka ang akala nila easy ang mga former employees sa DBP. Very inspiring message from Attorney Doc Causing. Tapos Norma Lasam, didisit. Huwag mo kung tawaging didisit, didiis lang po. Kasi pag sinabi mo shit, parang sinishit mo ako eh. Kung tatawagin kita BBM corrupt, lahat ng mga dilaw, dati dilaw din ako, dati pinklawan din ako. Kaya lang, kung sino pa yung magdanakaw, kinakampihan ninyo, si BBM, di ba? Normal Asam. Ay, hindi ka ba kayo nahiya dyan? Ha? Walang kinalaman ito kay Percy Lapid at hindi si Digong Duterte pumatay kay Percy Lapid. May hawak kong ebidensya. Si Bantag lang po yun. At ang pinaka nagpatay ko, may ibang tao man sa likod ni Bantag, no other but BBM. Kaya wala kang karapatan magsabi na si Duterte nagpapatay kay Percy Lapid. Napakabubo mo, wala kang ebidensya. Villa Hainos at Tabrilla, good morning po. Ben Maruerte, Alison 1031, Jolita Tiburcio. I'm watching from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Salamat po. Tapos si Ronilio Garzon. Taga Coronadal, nag-support sa Ibo. Salamat gid sa matanan nga taga Coronadal. Mayor Bing Pabi, madamo nga salamat. Supportahan to si Mayor Bing Pabi. She is the first woman mayor of Coronadal City. She is a unifier. I-join niya ang mga bagong Coronadal tsaka Kanami Coronadal. Tapos Jenny Bumagat, ay, kamusta? Locarit Loistro. Jose Martinez, Doc Toto, one of the best lawyers I've ever heard. Salamat po. T. Tapos Sir Toto, mga sindikato yan, kaya maang-maangan na lang. Jenny Bumagat, si Ridon po, kamukha ni Cookie. Okay. Kumusta naman si Roper? Roper, kumusta ka na? Maray na aga po, Doc. Elmer Emerita, John Tong. Tapos Gogo Attorney, very informative. Anchor, Channel TV, Normal Asam, DDH yan eh, diehard Duterte hater. DDH. Yan ang mga taong walang kwenta, di ba? Normal Asam. Tapos si Gloria Bagsaw, baka ang akala nila easy ang mga former employee of the BP. Okay, Raymond Ribucas ha. Okay, tapos si Dairil Santa Ana, sino pa si Ronald Bual. Maayong buntag, sir, watching from Agusan del Norte, Cabadbaran City. Maayong buntag sa Cabadbaran City. Maayong buntag sab diha sa Buenavista, sa mga pamilya Paler. Kay kay Alan Alan si Alan na yung may swimming pool. Alan Sanuria, saka si Grace Sanuria. Maayong buntag kaninyong tanan. Mike, malinaw ang paliwanag nyo, attorney. So, iyan lang po ang sinasabi ko. Camilo Antigua. It is the worst it is a very ignorant of you to prohibit Sara from getting 2 lawyers. No matter the reason. Karapatan kasi ng tao, yan hindi natin pwede harangan. Camilo Antigua. Kaya mali niya si Jenke Locaret Luistro at saka si Terry Cookie, Mr. Bean Ridon. Magkano kinita mo kay Saldico, Mr. Ridon? Nung hindi pa bumaliktad Saldico, tinutulungan mo, sinusuportahan mo. Ngayon hindi na kasi sa kabila ka, kumikita ka. Pakunwari ka pa ng NPA. Yan pala, no permanent, no permanent, ah, sabi natin, no permanent assistance. So anyway, ganito po yun. Ang sinabi kasi nila ni Jinky Luistro ay hindi naman daw sinagot. Tsaka pati si Koki, si si Terry Koki Ridon, hindi niya rin sinagot. Hindi raw sinagot ni Sara, ng abogado ni Sara, ng mga abogado ni Sara, ang akusasyon laban sa kanya. Well, if you do not understand what does it mean by the answer given, then you are at a loss. You are only exposing yourselves. Jinky Lucaret Luistro at saka Terry Koki Ridon. You are only exposing yourselves as ignorant of lawyering and ignorant of the law. Number one, ignorance that you did just committed. You you want to you want to prohibit Sara from using attorney Pua and attorney Raymond Dusu Bonsayak. Number two, sumagot po sila. Ang sagot nila ay, anong sasagutin namin? Hindi naman kumpleto ang pagkabanggit ng inyong mga akusasyon. Kasi po, Jinky Luistro, I want to educate you and Terry Ridon. The job or the function of knowing whether a complaint is sufficient in substance is not a function of voting. That is a ministerial function. Why do I say that it is a ministerial function? Ano ibig sabihin sa Tagalog? Yan po ay trabaho na wala kang magagawa. Kung ano makita mo, kung pula makita mo, pula, sabihin mo pula. Kapag itim makita mo, itim ang sabihin mo. Bakit ko nasabi ganun? Hindi nyo dapat pinagbuto-butuhan yan. There is nothing in the House of Representatives rules of impeachment that says that you must vote whether or not a complaint for impeachment is sufficient in form and substance. You cannot vote. There is only one truth. You can never say that truth is false. But in the determination of sufficiency in form, okay, tama kayo lahat doon, pero hindi dapat pinagbubutuhan yan. Kasi the nature itself, the nature of the job is ministerial. And it demands objectiveness. Sa pagiging form, pag sufficiency in form, may makita ka lang na verification and certification. At ang verification na affidavit ay naglalaman ng statement allegations in the impeachment complaints are true and correct based on my personal knowledge. Yun lamang ang requirement. Pag nakita mo na yun, okay na yun. Based on my personal knowledge and based on authentic records. Yun lang. Pag nabanggit mo na yan, wala ka na magagawa. That is sufficient in form. At pinirmahan, ninotaryuhan. At dagdag niyan, merong endorsement ng kahit isang congressman. That is sufficiency in form. You cannot call a vote whether it is insufficient or sufficient in form. The nature of the examination demands ministerial work. It does not demand discretion. You can never say that a complaint that is sufficient in form, you can never say that it is insufficient in form. Next, we proceed to sufficiency in substance. The sufficiency in form is written, is demanded, or is guided by Section 4, Article Rule 3 of the Rules of Impeachment of the House of Representatives. That rule is the highest rule in the impeachment proceedings of the House of Representatives. It is the highest because it is decided and agreed upon by all members of Congress voting in the plenary. And if it is voted by the plenary, meaning to say, lahat po bumuto. Hindi nyo pwede baliktarin yan dahil committee lamang kayo, maliit lamang kayo kumpara sa maramihan. Ha? Diyan ang pagkakamali mo sa pag-preside mo, Jinky Locarit Listro. Si Jinky Locarit Listro, tandaan ko bakit tinatawag kitang Locarit. Unang-una, tinago mo yung husband mo na kinasuhan ng rape na 2 counts. Inamin mo pa. That is punishable by disbarment. Bakit mo tinago ang husband mo? Kung talagang hindi siya guilty, dapat hinarap niyo ang kaso na 2 rape na laban sa husband mo. Oh. Next. Ang sufficiency in substance naman, nakasabi sa Rule 3, Section 5, na batas ng kabuuan ng House of Representatives ay nagsasabi, basahin mo lamang ang reklamong impeachment at kung nabanggit na po ang lahat dyan na mga kailanganin na mga detalye or ultimate facts, sapat na yan. At ibig sabihin naman, kung kulang ang pagkabanggit ng mga ultimate facts o mga kailanganing detalye para mabuo ang impeachment na kaso, ay automatic basura yan. Dapat hindi niyo pinagbuto-butuhan yan. Therefore, by the nature of the work, it is not judicial. It is ministerial. And if it is ministerial, then it is against the Constitution for your committee and for the members of the committee to vote upon to the question of whether the complaint sufficiently states the required details to constitute the ground for impeachment. So, nakita niyo ba yung yung nililecture ko sa inyo? The nature itself of Section 5 that dictates that you only need to read the recitation of facts. Kung kompleto ang recitation of facts at assuming na totoo yan, pasado na yan. Automatic na sufficient in substance. But the problem with you is, pagdating sa kaso laban kay Bongbong, sapat ang pagbanggit ng mga detalye para ma-impeach si Bongbong. Example, sa detalye na akusasyon na dapat tanggalin siya sapagkat siya'y adik, sinabi doon sa detalye na si Bongbong Marcos ay inaakusahan ng kanyang kapatid. Hindi inaakusahan, nagsiwalat ang kanyang kapatid. In-expose siya ng kanyang kapatid na si Amy na siya ay adik. Ibig sabihin, anong ibig sabihin yan? Ang ibig sabihin lamang yan is, si Amy ay hindi ordinaryong tao. She is your elder sister who has personal knowledge of you and your vices. Ibig sabihin, maaring hindi totoo sinabi ni Amy, pero malayo sa hinagap ng kahit sinuman na magsinungaling pa si Amy. At dahil mataas ang uri ng ebidensya na sinasabi ni Amy, ay mag-obliga na sa iyo para patunayan mo na hindi ka adik na ikaw ay magpa-hair follicle test. At hindi mo ginawa. Therefore, you breach the trust of the public. Ibang sitwasyon na eh. Nalagay ka na sa duda eh. Dapat tanggalin mo duda sapagkat pag hindi mo tinanggal duda, binrich mo ang tiwala ng tao sa iyo. At the only way for you to remove those doubts is for you to submit yourself to a very credible drug test and there is no, the most credible drug test is hair follicle test. Huwag sa akin kasi kalbo ako. At besides, in being an addict, you are not faithfully executing our law that is called as Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act, which is Republic Act 9165. When you took the oath as the President of the Philippines, one of the oaths that you made is to faithfully execute the laws of the Philippines. Biro mo, ang pagiging adik may parusa. Section 15 ng Republic Act 9165 nagpaparusa sa lahat ng adik. Tapos, nilalabag mo. Next! Kailanganin na ang isang presidente ay healthy. Ngayon, sa paggagamit mo ng droga ay hindi ka healthy. Therefore, you also committed betrayal of public trust. Biro mo pagkabanggit ng akusasyon ni Attorney Andre Desos, nagsalita ang ate mo, may duda laban sa iyo, ikaw ay sufficient na ito dapat ikaw magpa-drug test para matanggal ang duda, and yet hindi ka nagpa-drug test despite the overwhelming evidence that yourself has been submitted to severe doubt. And yet you did not submit yourself to hair follicle test, sapat na po ang pagbigkas ng detalye para masasabi natin that you committed the act that led to the betrayal of public trust. Tapos, binubuto-butuhan nyo at tinapon ninyo, hindi daw sufficient in substance. Yan po sinasabi ko sa iyo, Jinky Lucarit Luistro at saka Terry Cookie Ridon. Yan ang binabanggit ko sa inyo. Hindi dapat pinagbuto-butuhan ang tanong kung sapat ba ang sustansya ng kaso laban kay BBM at laban kay Sara. Pag tiningnan mo naman ang kaso laban kay Sara, particular sa kaso na confidential fund, anong binanggit ninyo? Binanggit ninyo na nagbigyan siya ng confidential fund sa pamamagitan ng pundo na binigay mula sa pundo ni Marcos, ni BBM. Pagdating kay BBM, sinabi ninyo, check yun, check, di ba? Dalawang, second, third packs. Kinuha niyang pera sa bangko. Check, tama. Sapat na yun, no? May, ano pa kasunod? Tapos nang binigay ang pera sa kay Colonel Dennis Nolasco sa kasi Colonel Raymond Dante La Chica, check. Okay, ano pang iba? Tapos, hindi mula kay La Chica, hindi kayo nagbanggit kung ano ang nangyari. Hindi po pwede magbanggit na conclusion na nagnakaw siya. Kailangan may detalye. Ultimate facts ang tama ron. At dahil hindi niyo binanggit, at dahil kulang, ibig sabihin, pag hindi niyo binanggit, kulang ang akusasyon. Kulang ang pagkasabi. Kung kulang, automatic yan, without any voting, because it is a ministerial function, ay automatic out na yung impeachment article patungkol dyan. Next, impeachment article laban na kay Sara. Yung pagbanggit na confidential fund ng Department of Education ay binulsa rin, kulang pa rin sa detalye. At nagdagdag, hindi na sinabi sa detalye ko, anong detalye, na pwede natin masabi na kasalanan ng Vice President dahil ang pundo ay ginasto sa kanyang pwesto bilang Secretary ng Education at hindi bilang Vice President. Sinabi na nga ng Supreme Court lahat ng mga aksyon na ginawa ng Vice Presidente ay hindi pwedeng isama basta hindi ito walang kinalaman sa kanyang pagiging Vice President. Wala kayong binanggit na detalye. Paano naging may kinalaman sa Vice President? Natandaan pa ninyo, di ba? Nag-motion to dismiss pa nga dyan si Rufus Rodriguez, na out of jurisdiction daw ang impeachment committee dahil hindi, kung kasalanan man yun, nagawa ni Sarang kasalanan bilang Secretary ng Department of Education. Hindi niya nagawa ang kasalanan bilang Vice President. So anyway, next, nagbanggit kayo, yung akusasyon kasunod mga envelope, binanggit nyo na namigay siya ng envelope, 9 na buwan ng envelope, namigay ng envelope, o 9 na envelope binigay. Pero hindi kayo nagbanggit kung para saan yung pera binigay. Para kay Yusek Gloria Mercado, kay Yusek Catalan, saka kay Yusek Ucias. Wala rin kayo binanggit na project, na bidding, kasi Bids and Awards Committee members and chairman sila. Ibig sabihin, kulang ang pagkadetalye. Automatic yan, hindi na dapat pinagbutuhan yan. Automatic out na yan. Kulang ang pagkadetalye. Tapos, ang isa naman kay Bongbong Marcos, sapat ang pagkadetalye sa mali-malita. Binanggit ang sinabi ni Gutesa. Binanggit ang sinabi ni Saldico. Wala pa yung 18 Marines doon, ha? Binanggit ang sinabi ni Saldico na mali-malit ang pera. Binanggit din ang sinabi ni Gutesa na mali-malit ang pera. Sapat na yun. Hindi naman hahanapin ang ebidensya kung totoo hindi. Kasi pinag-usapan ay kung sapat ba na mayroong sufficiency in substance. Pero binasura nyo kay Bongbong, nagbuto-buto pa kayo. That function was supposed to be ministerial function. Hindi nyo dapat buto-butuhan yan. Tingnan nyo lang yan ang facts, narration of facts, kung tama ba ang detalye pagkabanggit. Kung lahat ng detalye kailanganin para sa ma-impeach, nabanggit ba? Hindi na muna titingnan kung totoo o hindi mga binanggit na facts. Tapos, kumpara mo kay Sara, hindi nabanggit lahat. O, may isa pa. Yung nagsalita si Sara na huwag kayo mag-alala sa akin kasi kahit ipapatay ako ni Bongbong Marcos, ni Lisa Araneta Marcos, at saka ni Martin Romualdez, ay kumausap na siya ng isang killer na sakaling patayin siya, ay siya ang papatay kay Marcos, kay Lisa Marcos, at saka kay Tambaluslos. Yung mga bobo na lawyer, mga taga-UP kuno sila, kalain mo, tinawag ito na impeachable ground. Napakabubo nyo naman. Unang-una, wala pong batas na nagpaparusa sa isang tao na mag-hire ng killer, sakaling papatayin siya, ay papatay din ang killer. Walang batas na gano'n na nagpaparusa doon. Pangalawa, kahit sabihin pa natin plano pagpatay, sa libro natin, sa Revised Penal Code, at saka ibang batas man ng libro ng krimen o penal laws, wala rin pong batas na nagsasabi ang pagplano ng pagpatay ay krimen. Wala. Kailan magiging krimen yan? Kung gagalaw ka na para tuparin mo ang plano. Pero kung plano lang, walang krimen. O, pangatlo, hindi yan yung kondisyon na tinitingnan na grade threats. Actually, ang grade threats, hindi naman yan high crime. Parang misdemeanor lang yan. Ang kondisyon para papasok sa grade threats ay ganito dapat. Parang hold up. Pag hindi mo ko bibigyan ng pera, bukas papatayin kita. Yan ang kondisyon. Threat with a condition. Pero kung sasabihin ni Sara, Ibig sabihin, pag hindi ka ko bibigyan ng pera, ibig sabihin, pag bibigay ng pera, ay, ano yun? Pagbibigay, walang nagbabawal magbibigay ng pera. Mula sa biktima, papunta sa nagdidemand. Pero, pag ang sabi, pag patayin mo ang isang tao, papatayin din kita. Hindi po threat yan, warning yan. Hindi grip threat yan, warning yan. At saka, yung winawarning sa kanya na huwag niyang gawin ay krimen. So, binabalaan siya na huwag siya gumawa ng krimen na pumatay. Kaya, hindi grip threat yan. Ang grip threat lamang kung ang kondisyon na gagawin ay hindi krimen. Halimbawa, kagaya kay nirereklamo ni Janice Digamo, ng husband niya si Ruel Digamo, ay binalaan ni R.D. Tevez na kung manghuli siya ng mga gambling events sa Negros Oriental ay ipapatay siya ni R.D. Tevez. Nangyari. Ano ang kondisyon? Ang kondisyon ay kung gagawa ng ayon sa batas, si Digamo ay papatayin siya. Gaya ng paggawa, nagpakabatayin, ay hindi yan ayon sa batas. O, ano mga taga-UP kayo, tumayo kayo kahit sino magkipagdebate sa akin? Tataka naman ako, lahat ng taga-UP nagsasabi na krimen yun. O, hindi binanggit sa detalye kung paano nagiging krimen yun. Dapat, hindi na dapat nagbuto-buto sila ni Jinky Locarit Luistro, tsaka ni Terry Coker Ridon. Dapat automatic na out na yon. Nakita ba ninyo? O ito, sinabi daw nila na wala. Basahin natin itong affidavit ni Sarah. Total, nakakuha ko ng kopya. Yan ang problema kasi pag mag-congressman na hindi alam ang ginagawa. Nasisira ang bansa. Ayan ang sagot ni Sarah. Consolidated, verified answer ad cautelam. Yan ang sagot ni Sarah. Respondent by counsel without waiving any jurisdictional and or other objections. She has to these proceedings and a right to exhaust illegal remedies respectfully states. Number 1, no different from the 2025 articles of impeachment. Ibig sabihin, sinabi niya, inulit nyo lang eh. Yan ang unang depensa niya. Number 2 ang depensa niya. The impeachment complaints recycled the same accusations against the Vice President as those contained in the nullified fourth impeachment complaint. Sabi ni Sarah, ni-recycle nyo lang eh. Next. Number 3, absent any statement of ultimate facts. Dahil hindi mo lang kayo nabanggit ng mga ultimate facts na kailanganin, ang reklamo, ay wala kaming sasagutin. So, there is nothing to respond. Napakabubo naman to ni Jinky Locarit Luistro at saka ni Terry Ridon. So, respondent thus only admits averments. Ang sinabi lang, inaamin lang ni Sarah ay yung mga sinabi tungkol sa kanyang pagkahalal niya, pagpasok niya sa bilang vice presidente, at pag-appoint sa kanya bilang Secretary of Education, at saka yung dating opisina niya bilang mayor at vice mayor ng Davao City. Number 4, the rest of the allegations, ang iba pang mga binabanggit sa mga reklamo sa impeachment daw laban sa kanya, kasama na mga nakadikit na mga annexes at mga dokumento, ay specifically denied for being false, misleading, impertinent, and mere conclusions of fact and law. Nirespond naman nila. Although, diyan ang general denial. But then, sa impeachment complaint po, hindi yan kagaya sa civil case. Pag civil case, kapag general lang ang denial mo, ang ibig sabihin ay para na rin tinatanggap ang aligasyon sa complaint sa civil case na totoo. But this is not civil case. This is impeachment case. Ano ang epekto pag hindi ka sumagot? Parang hindi ka na sumagot niyan eh. Anong epekto niyan? Ibig lang sabihin ay wala kang inaamin. Bagkus, ikaw ay nagwe-wave. Sinasantabi mo lang ang iyong karapatan na sumagot. Gano'n lang yan at wala nang ibang ibig sabihin. Maliban na lamang na pwede sila magdesisyon base lang sa more on evidence of the accusers. Gano'n lang ibig sabihin yan. So there is nothing wrong kung gano'n lang ang sagot ni Sara. Sa totoo lang, kung magagaling kayong abogado, taktika yan. That is strategy. Bakit? Bakit ko sabihin strategy? Kasi i-reserve ko yung ebidensya ko pagdating na sa trial proper sa Senate Impeachment Court. Karapatan niya ng ni Sara Duterte. Buba mo kasi, Jinky Luistro eh. Lukarit ka talaga. Tapos itong antecedents, naglagay siya. On July 25, 2025, the Supreme Court rendered a decision declaring the first article of impeachment transmitted by the 19th House of Representatives to the Senate as barred by Article 11, Section 3, Paragraph 5 of the 1987 Constitution and held that said articles are unconstitutional and are deemed null and void ab initio. Binanggit na ano na nangyari. In said decision, the Supreme Court ruled that no impeachment proceedings may be commenced by the House of Representatives during the 20th Congress against the Vice President earlier than February 6, 2026. On January 28, 2026, the Supreme Court issued a resolution denying with finality the House of Representatives' motion for reconsideration of that decision. Number 7, on February 2, 2026, within the subsisting bar declared by the Supreme Court in Duterte case, the first impeachment case, the first of the 4 impeachment complaints against the Vice President was filed by former Representative Francisca Franz Castro et al., the Castro complaint. This impeachment complaint was endorsed by Representatives Antonio El Pino, Sara J. Ilago, and Representative Rene Luis Imco of ACT Teachers Party List, Gabriela Women's Party List, and Kabataan Party List, respectively. On the same day, the second impeachment complaint was filed by Francis Joseph Aquino D. et al., which was endorsed by Representative Percival Sendanya and Leila M. De Lima of Akbayan Party List and Mamamayang Liberal Party List, respectively. Number 9, on February 5, 2026, the Castro and D complaints were referred to the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Representative Faustino Bujidi III. Number 10, subsequently, on February 9, 2026, the third impeachment complaint was filed by Father Joel Saballa et al. And endorsed by Representative De Lima, the same member of the House of Representatives, who also endorsed the D complaint that was later withdrawn and terminated. That this was transmitted to the House Speaker on the same day. Ibig sabihin, 2 beses nag-endorse si De Lima. Ang unang in-endorse niya noong February 5 na reklamo, at saka pangalawang in-endorse niya ay yung February 9. So may complication. May complication. So thereafter, on February 18, 2026, the fourth impeachment complaint was filed by Attorney Nathaniel Cabrera, endorsed by Representatives Benvenido Abante and Paulo P. Ortega the Fifth. This was transmitted to Speaker a day after or on February 19. Number 12, on February 23, all four impeachment complaints were included in the additional reference of business for session number 30 on the same day. Media reports seem to indicate that these complaints were allegedly referred by the HOR to the Committee on Justice also on February 23, 2026. Number 13, however, a day prior to the first day of committee deliberations or on March 1, 2026, several media outlets reported that the complainants in the D complaint had decided to withdraw the second impeachment complaint and expressing their full support for the Saballa complaint containing the same grave allegations and substantial evidence as theirs. Number 14, at the start of its deliberations on March 2, 2026, the endorser of the D complaint, Representative De Lima, confirmed its withdrawal, which the chairperson of this committee, Representative Luistro, acknowledged and placed on record, along with the letters dated March 2, 2026, sent to this committee withdrawing said complaint and its endorsement. The D complainants confirmed the withdrawal and the root. Naku, magbibigay po ito ng komplikasyon sa reklamong impeachment, yung ginawa ng pag-withdraw. Bakit po? Tandaan ninyo, nagdesisyon ang Supreme Court sa unang kasong impeachment ni Sara Duterte na yung pag-withdraw ng kaso o pagiging walang silbi ng kasong impeachment ay maghahadlang na sa bagong impeachment na reklamo. Nako! Kung ako ang abogado ni Sara, pupunta naman ako sa Supreme Court at i-invoke ko na bawal ng impeachment complaint na dalawa. Bakit? Kasi earlier, March 2, ay na-withdraw ng isang complaint. So therefore, babawal ngayon yan. Naku, patay kayo talaga. Kayo ang gumawa ng kasamaan ng inyong reklamo. Si Aquino din nag-withdraw. Ibig sabihin, March 2, hindi na pwede sa March 3 mag-file ng impeachment. Kailan nila inaprubahan yung dalawang natira? Basahin natin patuloy. Delikado. Interesting ito. So, this committee continued to hold deliberations the following day, March 3, until March 4, which culminated in its alleged determination that said complaints are sufficient in substance. Patay. Klaro. March 2 ay hindi na pwedeng isampa itong kasunod na reklamo. Anyway, number 16, on March 4, this committee resolved to issue a notice to the Vice President to file her answer to the Saballa and Cabrera complaints. On March 5, 2026, the Vice President received the notice to respondent dated March 4, 2026, directing her to submit her verified answer within a non-extendable period of 10 days from her receipt of said notice. Number 17, the Vice President therefore has until March 16 to file her answer. This consolidated verified answer ad catilam is being timely filed today, March 16, 2026, without waiving any jurisdictional and or other objections and respondents' right to avail of the proper remedies therefore. Number 18, special and affirmative defenses. The foregoing discussion is repleted herein by reference. Number 19, the impeachment proceedings violate right to due process. The impeachment process is primarily a legal and constitutional procedure, but with political characteristics. It may be sui generis, but it is not purely political. proceeding. This means that the Bill of Rights, especially the due process clause and the right to speedy disposition of cases, applies to the entire impeachment process. Number 20, in relation thereto, due process includes an inquiry on whether the government has sufficient justification for depriving a person of life, liberty, or property. Number 21, notwithstanding that these doctrinal precepts were already explained by the Supreme Court prior to the deliberation of the impeachment complaints against the Vice President, this committee failed to observe the basic tenet of fair play and due process, where double standards were employed. In dealing with the impeachment complaints filed against President Marcos Jr., and the complaint against Vice President Sara, which has a different standard, resulting in arbitrary sana ba ko? Dali. Okay. Resulting in arbitrary government action. Kasi sa standard, in-explain ko kanina, sapat ang pagkabanggit ng reklamo laban kay Bongbong Marcos para ma-impeach siya. Pero nagbuto-buto sila na binasura nila. Tapos laban naman kay Sara, kulang-kulang ang mga detalye pagkakwento nila ng reklamo. Pero inaprubahan nila. Kaya may grave abuse of discretion sila. Ang trabaho po, ang nature ng trabaho ay ministerial, hindi discretionary or hindi siya judicial in nature. Kasi nakikitang-kita naman. Ang judicial, yung tinang mo pa ilalim, malalim na tingin, yan ang judicial nature ng trabaho. Pero kung sa mukha pa lang, makita mo na, madetermina mo na kung may sufficiency in substance o wala, ay ang trabaho tinatag na ministerial. Okay? At dapat kung ministerial, hindi na kailangan magbuto-buto. Number 2 dito. The HOR's Committee Report number 111 dated February 9, 2026 laid down the supposed basis in dismissing the impeachment complaints filed by De Jesus and Masa et al. For insufficiency of substance against BBM. During the deliberation and as stated in the said committee report, the committee is merely tasked to determine whether there is a recital of facts constituting the offense charged and determinative of the jurisdiction of the committee. Kompleto pagka-recite ng facts kay BBM. Bakit ibinoto niya na hindi kompleto? So, in dismissing the impeachment complaints against the President, this committee went beyond the four corners of the complaints and relied on extraneous considerations that are irrelevant in determining the sufficiency of the factual allegations. On the contrary, the same parameters were not applied by the committee to Sara Duterte. So, ang ginawa naman ng mga congressmen para ma-dismiss nila, para magkaroon silang justification, i-dismiss ang kaso laban kay BBM, hinanapan nila ng ebidensya na hindi naman nag-utos na maghanap ng ebidensya sa Section 5, Rule 3 ng House of Representatives Impeachment Rules. Yan, doon ang double standards. Pero kay Sara, kahit walang ebidensya, hindi na hinanapan. Okay. So, number 24, in its deliberations of the Saballa and Cabrera complaints, this committee disregarded the petition for review in Sara Z. Duterte et al. Versus Nilda B. Plaras, docketed as COA CP, case number 2024-0914, before the Commission on Audit. Commission proper, notwithstanding that the subject of that appeal is the notice of disallowance involving the same confidential funds. Ibig sabihin, nakaapila pa pala ngayon sa COA ang confidential fund na disallowed. Ibig sabihin, hindi pa pwede sabihin na disallowed na kinamkam ni Sara ang pera sa confidential fund. Kasi nakaapila pa sa Commission on Audit. At pagkatapos halimbawa matalo sa Commission on Audit, mag-file pa sa motion for reconsideration. At kung maibasura ang kanyang motion for reconsideration sa Commission on Audit, pwede pa siya umakyat sa Supreme Court. Ang tagal-tagal pa. Tapos gagamitin yung ebidensya lamang kay Sara kahit na nakaproseso pa. Di ba sub judice na yan? Kasi nasa korte na. Hindi niya pwede gamin yun. Number 25. This committee did not extend the same consideration to said petition filed with COA and disregarded the absence of any court decision declaring Vice President guilty of unlawful or unconstitutional acts, as it did with respect to the impeachment complaints against the President. Number 26. Further, this committee effectively prejudged the probative value and admissibility of the alleged pieces of evidence against the Vice President. This is shown by the statement of Representative De Lima during the deliberations, categorically declaring that the accusations contained in the Sabaya complaint against Sara Duterte are purportedly truthful. Yan, nagsalita na si De Lima. Totoo yun. Hindi pa nga nalaman eh. Wala pa nga proseso sa paghanap ng ebidensya sa sabihin, totoo yun. Kita mo ng mga na pagka-bias nila. So the complaint states not just ultimate facts. Hindi po ito mga aligasyong invento. Ha? Yan sinabi ni De Lima. Bias na kagad si De Lima. Number 27, galit lang siya kay Digong Duterte. Number 27, such a pronouncement prematurely assumes the existence, authenticity, and credibility of purported materials relied on by the complainants despite this having yet to be formally presented before the impeachment court, authenticated or subjected to examination. Number 28, by treating the allegations against the Vice President established truth even before trial begins, this committee has prematurely evaluated the evidentiary weight of supposed materials that yet to be introduced before the impeachment court. Number 29, in addition, Ramel A. Madriaga's alleged affidavit, insofar as it claims that the Vice President allegedly conspired with certain individuals to distribute money, seems to have been treated as gospel truth, despite being equally unauthenticated, inherently incredible, of questionable origin, and devoid of any probative value. Grabe, wala man lang suporta ng ebidensya tapos paniwalaan nyo kay Ramil Madriaga. Ha? Mr. Terry Coqueridon, tsaka si Jinky Lucaret Listro. Notably, number 30, while Madriaga makes sweeping allegations in his purported affidavit, he failed to support his claims with any shred of evidence. Consequently, his affidavit consists of nothing more than unsubstantiated claims and bare conclusions which cannot be accorded any evidentiary weight. Number 31. On the contrary, it appears from the televised proceedings of this committee that the accusations against the President and other high-ranking public officials were summarily disregarded. By doing so, it becomes even more manifest that double standards were employed in the treatment of the impeachment complaints against Sara and against BBM. Number 32. Nonetheless, the falsity of the statements in Madriaga's affidavit is exhaustively discussed in the Vice President's complaint affidavit dated March 4, 2026, filed before the Office of the City Prosecutor of Taguig City and docketed as NPS docket number XB-16-INB-26C-00320 against Madriaga for perjury. Number 33. In other words, unequal standards were applied in evaluating the allegations against parties similarly situated insofar as the complaints filed against both the President and the Vice President alleged grounds for their impeachment. Here, the testimonies of supposed resource persons during the Quadcom hearings in 2024, despite elicited through leading questions and under circumstances suggesting pressure and the threat of contempt, were given probative value and relied upon as basis of these complaints. Kaya nga, pag ginamit po nila lahat ng mga testigo na nakuha nila ang salita dahil sa contempt, ay hindi pwede tatanggapin na ebidensya yun. Because, bakit? Kasi nakuha po ito yung mga binanggit sa pamamagitan ng pananakot ng contempt. So, you cannot rely that the person being threatened is telling the truth. That person being threatened, his statements cannot be accepted as evidence. It is hearsay. Number 34. In contrast, serious allegations revolving around misuse and corruption of billions of public funds na laban kay Bongbong Marcos. Puno ng ebidensya. Hindi nila tinanggap. This unequal treatment reflects an uneven application of standards and scrutiny in the determination of sufficiency in form and substance of the complaints against the Vice President. Number 35, it has been held by the Supreme Court that due process in the end merely is in the embodiment of the sporting idea of fair play. So, in Duterte, in the decision of the Supreme Court in the first impeachment case against Sara, the Supreme Court said that as with all constitutional processes, impeachment must be exercised with strict adherence to due process and fairness. It is not a stage for political drama or fictional fights. It should be invoked only when truly necessary and always in the service of the public good. Number 36, it was further expounded that due process as a requirement must be present in the entire impeachment process. This certainly includes even the deliberations made by this committee on the sufficiency in form and substance of the Saballa and Cabrera complaints. Number 37, as held by the Supreme Court, the hearing and deliberations are important to due process. Part and parcel of due process and fairness is the application of the same parameters and considerations in this determination. Otherwise, the entire impeachment proceedings are rendered void for being marred with substantial violations of this elementary constitutional right. Number 38, indubitably, had the same standards considered in impeachment complaints against President Marcos being applied to the Saballa and Cabrera complaints, the committee should have likewise found them insufficient in substance. The committee failed in this regard, resulting in the violation of the Vice President's right to due process. Number 39, no ultimate facts. In any case, even if this complaint disregards the patent constitutional violations in this case, the impeachment complaints must still be dismissed. Number 4, it is basic that a complaint must state only ultimate facts. Section 5, Rule 3 of the Rules of Procedure in impeachment proceedings require the recital of ultimate facts, that is, those constituting the evidence charged and determinative of the jurisdiction of the committee. Number 41, the assumption of truth, commonly known as the hypothetical admission of truth, accorded under the test does not cover all the allegations pleaded in the complaint. Only ultimate facts, or those facts which the expected evidence will support, are considered for purposes of the test. It does not cover legal conclusions as evidentiary facts. Number 42, here, neither of the two impeachment complaints allege the essential or ultimate facts necessary to sustain the charges. What they present instead are bare conclusions of fact and law, heavily laden with self-serving conjectures, logical fallacies, and speculative claims, none of which can substitute for the clear and specific statement of ultimate facts required to support an impeachment complaint. Number 43, considering that none of the impeachment complaints is anchored on any recital of facts which could be appropriately answered by the Vice President, this committee lacks the required foundation upon which to base any determination of the substance constituting the alleged impeachable offense. Number 44, the Supreme Court laid down the due process safeguards which must be strictly observed in impeachment proceedings in the Duterte case, the first impeachment case. None of the safeguards were observed by the HOR. In this case, number 45, the accusation against the Vice President set out in the impeachment complaints consistently reveal a disregard of these cardinal safeguards. The alleged violations fall short of the gravity required to amount to a betrayal of public trust, graft and corruption, and or bribery, culpable violation of the constitutions, or high crimes. Okay. And likewise include supposed offenses allegedly committed prior to the assumption of respondent to any impeachable office. Moreover, it is an elementary principle that mere allegation is not evidence and is not equivalent to proof. Similarly, charges based on mere suspicion and speculation likewise cannot be given due credence. Number 47, complainants impute on the Vice President her alleged commission of crimes constituting plunder through malversation, graft and corruption, and technical malversation in relation to the Office of the Vice President and Department of Education funds. Complainants then contend that the Vice President should be held liable under the doctrine of command responsibility. Number 48, these allegations, however, cannot withstand serious scrutiny since these imputations rest on any established act, facts, or final findings of a competent tribunal or court. They remain mere conclusions at best. Kapag conclusion lang kasi ng fact, hindi mo dapat sagutin yun. Kasi conclusion yun. Ang sinasagot lang, statement of facts. Dito puro conclusion eh. So, number 49, in fact, nothing in the two impeachment complaints point to any ultimate facts. Kaya dahil walang ultimate facts, wala siyang isasagot si Sara Duterte. So, nothing in the two impeachment complaints point to any ultimate facts showing that the Vice President amassed any ill-gotten wealth in the first place. The accusations that the Vice President committed plunder through malversation or even malversation itself are therefore plainly baseless as the essential elements of these crimes are altogether absent. Hindi ka binanggit mga elemento ng krimen ng plunder. Number 50, neither can the allegations of corruption and bribery against the Vice President be sustained. Complainants have failed to present any competent evidence showing that she unlawfully obtained public funds or derived personal gain or benefit, whether or for herself or for another, from the alleged monetary benefits. So, hindi sila nagbanggit kung ano mga ebidensya nila para maipakita na nagnakaw si Sara. Number 51, aside from self-serving insertions and sweeping legal conclusions, the impeachment complaints contain nothing anchored in any concrete established facts or supported by law. They are plainly insufficient to sustain the accusations they support to advance against the President. Number 52, a careful reading of the impeachment complaints yields a fundamental defect in that they contain no allegation or proof that the Vice President persuaded, induced, or influenced another public officer to perform any act. Neither is there any ultimate facts showing that the Vice President allowed herself to be persuaded, induced, or influenced to commit any act in exchange of any consideration or of the alleged monetary benefit. The impeachment complaints likewise brazenly accuse the Vice President of entering into a supposed contract to kill, yet they failed to present and thread of proof any such contract ever existed. Wala rin silang binigay na ano na papel ng kontrata sa pag-hire ng tao. Instead, complainants rely on exaggerated conclusions dressed up as a fact. So, number 54, even worse, the conclusion is used as the basis for further unsupported assertions that the Vice President allegedly violated the Constitution, betrayed public trust, committed high crimes, and manifested a willful intent to subvert constitutional order, to incite or condone violence against constitutionally vested officials, and to destabilize the lawful functioning of government. Allegations of such magnitude cannot be sustained by exaggeration and inference alone. Number 55. Given the impeachment complaints failed to state any ultimate fact showing the Vice President commission of any such act, any such high crimes, or the existence of their essential elements, or any impeachable offenses provided under the Constitution, these allegations deserve no consideration. 56. That the complaints depended on sweeping conclusions to make these allegations on the part of the Vice President is consistent with the letter dated March 5, 2026 by Akbayan Party List, Representative Jose Manuel Chel Diokno, addressed to Representative Luistro, requesting for documents supposedly to facilitate the fulfillment of this committee's mandate to evaluate the evidence and for the transfer of Madriaga's custody to the Committee on Justice. Number 57. However, the finding of sufficiency in substance by this committee presupposes that the allegations in the complaints are supported by evidence. Yet, said letter from Representative Diokno issued only after the impeachment complaints were already declared allegedly sufficient in form and substance, only confirms the fact that there is no sufficient evidence to sustain any of these impeachment complaints. Number 58, the complainants likewise claim that the Vice President allegedly committed culpable violation of the Constitution and betrayed public trust in amassing purported unexplained wealth as a public official, and when she allegedly failed to disclose of her properties in the statements of assets, liabilities, and net worth. Number 59. However, these allegations are premised on supposed disclosures made in her SALN prior to her assumption to an impeachable office, which the complainant simply cannot sustain. The Supreme Court had already clarified the acts of or omissions constituting the proper charge must be committed during the term of the impeachable officer, not before they were elected or appointed. Kaya hindi niya pwedeng gamitin ang records ng bangko at saka SALN bago siya naging Vice President. Hindi niya pwede gamitin yun. Mayor siya, Vice Mayor. Kasi utos ng Supreme Court, hindi kasama yun sa kaso na kung hindi pa siya naging Vice President. So, 60. So, 2, the assertions against the President regarding her alleged ownership of purported and disclosed bank accounts is ridiculously based solely on an online article that was published in 2016. This so-called proof is hearsay, twice removed, and thus unreliable. Number 61, without any evidence against the Vice President, the impeachment complaints advance the complainant's theory that even assuming that the Vice President had no direct involvement in the alleged unlawful acts, she should nonetheless be held still liable under the doctrine of command responsibility for the alleged crimes committed by her subordinates. Number 62, the claim is fundamentally flawed. The mere existence of an hierarchical relationship does not by itself establish liability under the doctrine of command responsibility. To hold otherwise would distort the doctrine and reduce it to a presumption of guilt solely based on position. Number 63. More importantly, the doctrine invoked by the complainants cannot operate in a vacuum. Before responsibility may even be imputed to a superior, there must first be competent proof that the subordinates committed the alleged wrongdoing. Number 64. Here, The complainants failed to establish that any such crime or irregularity was in fact committed. Absent such proof of any predicate offense, there is nothing upon which command responsibility may attach. Number 65. Consequently, since no wrongdoing has been established with proof by the complainants, they simply cannot rush to the conclusion that the Vice President is ultimately responsible for them. One cannot presume knowledge of supposed crimes that have not been established to exist. 66. The impeachment complaints also fail to demonstrate how the alleged acts supposedly committed by the Vice President could constitute as other high crimes that rise to the level of impeachable offense, let alone criminal acts by themselves. Number 67. All told, there is nothing in the impeachment complaints that demonstrate any ultimate facts pointing to coherent, credible account or narration of the impeachable conduct. Okay? Yan ang sagot ni Sara Duterte. O, narinig nyo na? Very strong. Napakalakas ng sagot niya. At na-demonstrate niya na wala talagang recitation of ultimate facts na ginawa. So with that, 1 hour and 16 minutes na, Tomas Esplana, like na tayo, panalo ng Pilipinas natin, mahal, Duterte pa rin. Kaya nga, sabi, kumakanta ngayon si Atty. Guanzon, at saka ako, at saka si Sara, sa Pilipinas, Duterte pa rin. So, Marcel Herna, many cases in law are proven using indirect evidence because when the facts point to a single conclusion, it is sufficient to prove a claim. Anong pinagbabanggit mo? Grace Calantes, Panic Bunda sina Luistro, Ridon, Chua, kinakarma na sila. Nakinig niya, very solid ang sagot ni Sara Duterte. Tapos, Brocha Barotso, dami problema ng bansa, puro impeachment pa rin ang pinatuwag. Ay nga, ang gasolina, napakamahal na, 100 plus na. Impeachment pa rin. King Jacob Lohorte, puro kuro lang at paninira ang ginagawa ng mga kalaban ni BP kasi desperado na sila. Kaya, ang dapat na ikakanta, desperado, why don't you come to your senses? Come down from your fences, open the gate. Bisayang Laagan, matik yan. Pag ma-appeal si BP para sa isi, siguro akit sa Supreme Court to. Icha-challenge siya yung pag, kita mo ba yun? Tuloy sa bari? Winidraw kasi ni Aquino D yung kanyang reklamo sa impeachment noong March 2. Nagdesisyon ang Supreme Court sa kaso na unang impeachment ni Sara na sabi niya ng Supreme Court, kapag na-withdraw, kapag hindi na viable, ang isang impeachment complaint ay sapat na yan para pumigil sa ibang mga bagong impeachment. Nauna, wala nang kwentang 3 impeachment. Sila nagsira ng kanilang kaso. Vicky Mansion, good morning, Toto Tirador, watching from Lucena City. Tapos Ben Marwerte, kung naniwala dyan ang isi sa appeal ng mga lawyers ni Duterte, talagang wala nang ma-impeach. Hindi pa naman sila nag-apila. Sinabit lang po yun sa Committee on Justice. Pero kung ako abogado ni Sara Duterte, pupunta na ako sa Supreme Court. Barred! Again, barred! Kasi bakit? Winidraw ni Kiko Aquino D yung reklamang impeachment. Nang winidraw niya, stop na lahat. Harang na. Tapos Sir Toto, ang ginagawa ng grupo ni De Lima at ibang congressmen, gusto lang nila siraan si BP sa mga taong walang alam. Para magmukhang masama, alam nila na walang kwenta ang impeachment nila, puro paninira lang. Alyasa Makarampat, assalamualaikum, alaikum assalam, pagari. Pagari Alyasa. Tapos Raymond Diribucas, Lahat na dumikit sa mga tao sa Duterte nagsisisi na mga kaso ang inaabot, kulong, life sentence, kawawa mga bata. Ay, wala yan. um, Ricky Manlangit, ang nagsampa ng impeachment kay BP Inday Sara Duterte ay mga makakaliwa. Ayaw nila maging presidente si BP Inday Sara dahil takot sila. Marian Maliwat, like and share, Dan, no skip ads. Kahit sunod-sunod ang ads. Good day, bossing, laban, kabayan. Elijah Socorro, Tamsak, Katato, Romeo Pabros, bayad ang mga yan para sirain ang vlog mo. Ganun. Romeo Pabros, Dr. Tulo, gayahin mo si Badong Aratiles na lahat ng mga BBM trolls sa FP nag-block niya kasi na nakakaubos lang ng oras. O nga, no. Good morning po, Atty. Toto. Salute po. Salamat. Ben Marwerte, nakaapila pa rin. 4 years na, wala pa rin result. Tapos, of course, BBM, yan para sa iyo. Kompleto yan sa sustansya. Raymond Ribocas, Sara, atakihin ang Ben Marwerte, alam na yan ng mga congressmen sa nakakampi ni Sara. Presi Bunga, God bless you, BP Inday, Sara Duterte. Sino pa iba? Kapsan the Mix Vlog. Tama po yan, Atty. Toto. Yan na nga ang ad kautilam. Sinagot na po ni BP Inday, Sara, ang the crooks cookie. Bisayang laagan, sufficient sa kanila kaysa katatanggap ng malimalitang pera. Ken Marwerte, mag-endorse naman lang kahit 10 pa na impeachment, i-endorse mo pwede. Jerry Abila, ad kautilam, panibagong term na narinig ko ngayon, yung pala hindi ipakilala ang jurisdiction. Sandali lang. Second. Sino pa? Kasi kaso ni Sara, hindi recycled. Okay, hanggang dyan lang muna. Masyadong mahaba eh. At saka, at saan kalating oras na tayo. Maraming salamat po. Paki-like lang po. Paki-like at don't skip ads. At saka join sa aking membership channel ko. 75 pesos a month lang po. Maraming